owner of MTR Event Design. Marie creates virtual and live events in the San Francisco Bay Area, wine country, nationally and internationally with ease, efficiency, and fun. And I'm just going to stop right there and interject that Marie is tons of fun. I absolutely love working with her, and I get a kick out of every time we get a chance to talk. So Marie truly enjoys the people that she works with, and as a result, she has created amazing experiences for many of them. One of her joys is helping clients go from concept to reality, which she does by carefully working with them to determine the strategic outcome of each event and making sure that the client's objectives are met. Helping clients create virtual corporate and nonprofit events is what lights her up. You bring the passion for her, and she helps you turn your vision into reality. Welcome, Marie. I am so thrilled to finally have you here at CEO School.
Kelly, thank you so much. It's great to be here. Boy, you what a great intro. Thank you so much.
Oh, believe me, it is well deserved. I'm so excited. So first, I'd like to talk a little bit about your journey. How did you end up being the event planner extraordinaire?
I love that title. Okay, so I started, it's interesting. After going to college, I thought I wanted to be a project accountant CPA. I ended up changing my major from that to marketing. But then when I got out, I actually became a project accountant for a while. Even back when I was in high school, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll be a dental hygienist. So we kind of laughed because recently some people have talked about, hey, what were you going to do when you were thinking about it? And what happened was a really great friend of mine, I was actually working for corporate, and I was doing conventions and incentive recognition and incentive programs. And with Shackley Corporation, I don't know if you know about Shackley Corporation, but years ago, used to travel a lot. And a good friend of mine she said, hey, Marie, Lisa, she said, hey, let's go, and you're so organized. Why don't we start a party planning company? And so I'm like always that kind of person. We'll go in, we'll dive in, I'll do my market research, all of that. I dove in really fast, and she decided to just have me go forward. We're still super dear friends today, and she's one of my cheerleaders, and I started my business, and I did weddings for a number of years, and recently went back to corporate. As we know, with COVID, it was like all event planners, all of our events canceled. Right. Or rescheduled. And I was blessed because I had one of my clients who said, we cannot afford to cancel. We have to figure this out. So within 6 weeks, we actually created an amazing conference. It had a great outcome. People were excited. And that grew into just loving virtual events and helping my clients navigate this different world right now. It is a different world. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say you handle events with hundreds of participants, and you do some amazing, amazing work with large insurance companies. So not too many weddings these days, correct?
Yeah, no, not too many weddings. Mainly a lot of conferences. I work with a lot of financial services, and there's some insurance companies, some retreats, things like that. Smaller, sometimes I'm supporting some smaller coaches and things like that to do like monthly events. So I help them in the back end and all of that. So it's been a joy. I'm learning so much, and that's one of my passions too, is that I love to learn. So if I'm not learning and enjoying myself and having fun doing it, then I need to figure out something else. And that's kind of where I was at. Don't get me wrong, I have wonderful wedding clients. I've helped some amazing couples get married, but I just wasn't feeling like I was expanding and growing as much. And so that's why this whole virtual event planning is exciting to me. I'm learning a ton, and I'm I'm helping my clients, because it's a mystery for a lot of people. There's probably there's thousands and thousands of platforms, and people have no idea what to choose from. So that's where I can help them.
That's wonderful. And I think that goes partly to the strategy portion, which is really what I wanted to talk a lot about today, which is having an event without a strategy in mind is not going to produce the kind of results that you want.
Yeah.
And let's really do a deep dive, or we don't have enough time to do a deep dive, but
we'll give some tips. We'll give some.
Wade in the water.
Exactly. And I think, this goes to a lot of businesses. We're always asking our clients, what's their purpose? What's their why? But I think sometimes people look at an event and go, we've always had this event. Let's just do it. But what I like to do is really ask those important questions. Why are you doing your event? What's the outcome that you expect? And things that, like, who is your ideal client? Who's that? Maybe create a client avatar even, and everything you're doing along your marketing end and is talking to that avatar, that person. The other thing is really important, because depending on your event, you might have a conference, you might be doing an event where you're educating and then taking people to another group program that could give them more information. So you have to find out, who is this event for and who is it not for? Both of those are really, really important. And that's what I really help people with. And then as we're moving through the whole process of event planning, we're always tying it back to strategy. Is what we're going to do going to still keep us on track with our purpose, our why, all of that? And if it's not, we have to pivot a little bit, or I don't know, that word is, sorry, it's being used a little bit too often. But change up, those kind of things, just so we can really make sure that your event is accomplishing what you want. So hope that helps. That's a little summary. Yeah.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit? I mean, we're all familiar with Zoom. We love Zoom. We use it daily, and it works great for meetings, things like that. But I know there are other platforms out there. And can you talk a little bit about why you would use a different platform, how you would use it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my clients do educational conferences. And one of the things that they have to do is track continuing education. So what that means is we need to know that people are online at exactly that time, that they've stayed online, and all of that. Zoom doesn't really have that option. So we have to kind of pivot to, I keep using that word pivot, oh my gosh. We have to change it up, look at some other things, and look at some other platforms. Now, I actually do love Zoom too. There's a lot of things you can do with Zoom, as far as if you're not having to work with that CE requirement. There's so much engagement, and people don't realize that. There's branding we can do. And that's why you bring in your sound, AV production team and all of that, so we can brand. It's not just your black background screen, right? There's so much more you can do with events with Zoom. So there are so many different platforms. There's other networking ones. I mean, I can just start naming a bunch, like Hopin, AirMeet, On24, Cvent. So that's what, again, we're going to go back to your strategy, right? We're going to figure out what you need to do and figure out if do we need to change up the platform, or is Zoom going to accomplish? Zoom actually accomplishes a lot. And when you get to a higher level, there's so much you can do. I just attended a 3-day amazing conference by Sage event management company, and they had over 1,400 people. People were engaged. It was all on Zoom. It was amazing. I just can't say enough about it. And so that's what I continue to do, is learn about things on how I can help my clients create these wonderful experiences, because you want people to keep coming back to your event. And why are they coming back to your event? Because you're creating that experience.
And I also want to say that even using Zoom as the example, there are capabilities in Zoom that you as the audience, you as the client, probably aren't even aware of right now because it's not the vanilla. And
Yeah.
having somebody like you, Marie, to be able to say, look, let me show you how you can create a webinar. Let me show you how you can create breakout rooms. Let me show you how you can do these. We talked before about providing the course materials so that,
Yes.
you know, people could download them for.
Easily. So let me talk about that because that's really important. So as we know, we've all been on Zoom meetings, right? And somebody will upload a PDF and then somebody will get kicked off or somebody will come in late and then you have to upload it again, or you have to put the website in again and again and again. And so that's really wasted time. I like to, even though Zoom is kind of your platform, I like to even add a dashboard section to it. And that's what I've learned a lot is how you can create that experience. You could do leaderboards, all kinds of fun stuff to keep people interactive, have resource sections. So if people want to download information, it's right there. And so you don't have to go back, have a help desk there. All of that can be right in. And so you just have two windows. You'd have the Zoom window open and you'd have your dashboard open. So I love that. And we've been creating a lot more of those type of events for people. So yeah.
I'm loving it. So
Yeah.
coming to an event planner can be a lifesaver in terms of just up-leveling the experience for the people that you work with. And sorry, I'm going to touch on one other thing, which is attendee etiquette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big deal. When you've gone to the time and trouble to put the event together, what is it that the event hosts would like to see from the people that are attending?
Well, I love telling, just kind of having a guideline, not telling people exactly what to do, but having a guideline. So how can you as an attendee, because we're going to go back to what's the experience you want your speakers to have, what your attendees are going to have, and you as a host, right? So for me too, for hosts, I'm helping them so they can deliver. Speakers, I'm helping them so they can deliver. Attendees, I think the etiquette is really important because if you set them up for success and just say, it would be wonderful, we want interaction, engagement, to have your camera always on. Of course we understand things happen. And at that point, if you need to take your camera off, absolutely mute, because as we know, with larger, because I deal with a lot of larger events, we're either asking the attendees to mute or we're muting them themselves. But if you already have set this up where you have a kind of a check-in video and welcome to our event, telling people tips, what's going to happen, but also here's how you maybe use the platform because it may or may not be Zoom, right? Here's what you can do. Here's some good etiquette on how to show up, how to engage, because I think engagement is the hardest thing, the networking. People are saying, well, everybody's like turning their cameras off. But if you set people up for success in advance, it's amazing so many people will have their camera on, they'll be interacting, they'll, even like having something you send to them and just saying, this is your time. You've invested in this conference, meeting, retreat, whatever it is, and just, focus, clear your desk, put your snacks, get your water. And those are things too I do, like in the waiting room, grab some water while you're waiting, make sure you have snacks, make sure you're nourished, make sure you stand up occasionally. So all those kind of things are important. And I think it gives people that are attending like they're belonging, because I think with everything, that's the hardest part, is the networking and the engagement. People have a hard time with that because they think, oh, it's just somebody speaking or it's just educational content, but there's so much you can do for engagement. Contests, leaderboards, give some prizes out, send a wow box. All of those kind of things are wonderful ideas.
Yeah, one of the things that I truly loved was a 3-day meeting that I went to, and before the meeting ever transpired, I got a box in the mail, and in it I had all kinds of great things that got me excited about the meeting that I could use during the meeting. I think there was candy in there that I could, a snack that I could nibble on. I mean, it was really just like it already made me feel like I was a part of what was going to
right. And it doesn't have it does, here's my thing I want to say too. Not everyone has large budgets to do this, but first off, let's kind of talk about the conference. When you go to a live conference, like in person, right? Because virtual is still live, but a virtual in-person event, you may have expo hall, you might have sponsors, they're giving away goodies, they're doing things. So that piece is missing with the virtual, right? So you can just have a low budget and just send something really small. Sage, I'm just raving about them too, because they're kind of my mentors, and they did a really amazing job on some of their VIPs, and they had these table topic, they just bought some table topic cards, and they put them in an envelope and sent it to everybody. And then we had a networking in breakouts, and we were talking about the different levels of conversation and using our table topic. And I just thought it was an inexpensive idea. Send it. Exactly. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these things, but people like getting things. They just do. That makes them feel important.
And it makes you feel like you're part of the team, part of the group. Yeah. So let's touch on one other topic that I think is really important, whether your event is small or huge. When it's huge, you know you're going to need support staff. But when it's small and you've got 30 people in the room, I think it's a really good idea to have some backup then as well. And can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. I think we touched a little bit on it, but like when you're a speaker, right? You just say you're a coach and you're delivering a webinar or your group coaching program. When you're in person, you are engaged with your attendees, you're able to facilitate. So whether it's in person or it's virtual, you still need support staff to have somebody putting things in the chat, to have somebody handling things for you. If we need to upload something to the dashboard, we put it there. So there can be that surprise of, hey, we have this gift for you, and it could be a downloadable. I'm just throwing things out. It could be some type of game, some type of fun thing. But the support staff is really, really important, and also tech support is really important, because not everybody is going to be able to navigate the platform, and it's nice to just be able to click a button for tech support. So I think you need that. Not just like supports, but let me I want to talk about staff overall, because you also need your marketing team, you need your communication team, your social media team, so you need all those things, because all those things will make or break your event. And again, we go back to strategy with all of those things, making sure people are communicating. So your sound AV people may be communicating with your social media people during the event, because there might be something that's coming up online that the social media people show up, they come, they're being notified, and then we need to notify our sound tech AV people. So I'm not like that conduit between everybody. So, I can't do it all by myself either. So I have people that come in and support me too. So
absolutely. Yeah. I just had the most brilliant aha from what you were saying. Not brilliant on my end. I was like, oh my gosh, of course. So you did touch on something that, backing up, that I think super important, which is for you to have a successful event, you need social media, you need the marketing, you need all those things to precede the event. But when you're in the actual event, you want to take, if somebody has a really important question, or or you've, as a presenter, has said something that you want to quote, you can push that out to your social media, even while you're still within the event. And that just builds more excitement for the replay, for the people who missed it, but are like, you got to be there at the next one.
Yeah. And also there's stuff like the presenter may say, and this happened actually a lot at a couple of events I've actually attended, where the presenter's saying something and it's like, oh man, I just didn't get that. I didn't get that. So for me, I'll be knowing what the script is, and I'll copy and paste those things into the chat or into a resource center, whatever we decide, depending on the event. And that's just one less thing that the speaker host has to do too. And I think backing up to your, staff or team, I would say, if you have multiple speakers, there's also, you want to set them up for success. So what are your best tips, ideas for your speakers? I do a tech check with people all the time. What's your camera like? What's your lighting like? How's your mic? Even a simple, like you'll see, I just have a little simple microphone. A wired one works so much better than Bluetooth when you're doing larger events and things like that. So I just try to coach people to be successful, because their success is my success too. So
absolutely. And I love that motto. I use it myself, because that's really how I feel. You want your clients to be successful. That is, that's the purpose.
Yeah,
the money's good. That helps.
It sure does. And the other thing too, Kelly, I know that we're all on the computer a lot. We're all on, whether it's Zoom or another platform, a lot. And a lot of people are doing maybe large events or small events, but I think the key is really to make it fun, to keep engaging people. Sometimes people will say, hey, that's not part of my brand. I think everybody likes to have a little fun, whether they're super serious or not, but just what are those things you can surprise people with? What can you get them excited about that they're like, oh gosh, I feel really important? And even doing a little breakout thing, like do a little yoga stretch because everybody's sitting for so long, or there's just so many things that you can do. I love games. I love doing, I love one of the polling apps that I like is like Mentimeter, and it really engages people, whether you have them speaking or not, or on chat or not, they still can be involved, and they see, oh, hey, this was really fun. We could do word clouds. What are people feeling? How did they like the presentation? That's borderline though, maybe not that. Maybe it's more of something that, like if it's a coach or whatnot, or what are their goals? What are their successes? Maybe one word that could say that. So then we create these word clouds, which people are like, that's way cool. Yeah. So.
And thank you for saying that. I think it's super important. Having fun, sparking joy at your events keeps people engaged like nothing else. You may have all the fabulous information in the world, and that's wonderful. And people can be taking copious notes and they can feel really good about it. But sparking fun or joy will make the experience something that is memorable and make people want more.
I agree. And also the whole thing, what my goal is to help my clients grow. So they might be having a event that's 500, but maybe they want to go to 1,000, who knows? Because now with virtual, but that is really important. So you want people to keep coming back. They don't want to have them say, oh, that wasn't worth my time. I don't really want to go back to that again. Yes, we want to have people to continue to re-register for the next event, or if it's an annual or semi-annual, those are things. Right. And that's the only way, I think, is you have to have a combination of, you do your education, you have some engagement, fun, some games, like we said earlier, people love to get things, and they don't have to cost a lot. They really don't. So you could have some giveaways. depending if you're doing a leaderboard or something. And I just want to make sure everybody understands what a leaderboard is. Kelly, do you know what a leaderboard is? Okay. Some people don't. So let me just kind of go. What it is, like you have your dashboard, and this is engagement. And there might be different steps. You get certain points because you're doing this. You're going to the sponsors. You're uploading a picture of you with the swag box. You're just something on social media that you put, and you get points, and you keep getting points, and that then kind of gets you up on the what we call the leaderboard. And then from there, the host can decide, hey, I want to do some prizes. And it's always nice to kind of do those live at the end of the event too. So
I think that's wonderful. You've given us some brilliant tips. I love it, love it, love it. And I know you've got thousands and thousands more. As a friend of ours said, a lifetime supply.
Right? Yes, that's our friend.
So, I know you have a giveaway.
Yes,
and I'm going to ask you to put that in the chat after we're done here.
Okay.
And and if anybody wants to get in contact with you, you can put your contact information, all of those things in the chat. But
definitely. And let me just tell the giveaway, the freebie is just a very detailed virtual event planning checklist. It goes through a lot of things on what you need to do and when you need to do it. Personally, I like to plan in advance, so it starts at 6 months. Not everybody plans that far in advance, but I'm an event planner. That's what I do.
Absolutely. That alone is an invaluable tool. I will say,
people enjoy it.
In checklists, so
they love checklists. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, Marie, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with you again really soon.
Oh, I'd love it. This was so fun. So thanks for having me, Kelly.